Going live. You are live. Here we are in a tree below the grid. We're live. Welcome back to Brotherland Games. I am Michael, and we're here back on the Brotherland server. We've got some fun stuff planned. Welcome back to existence. How are you? How am I? How is anything? How is everything? It's so good to be back. Sorry. All right, here we go. The topic, if you didn't see the title card, is absurdity and more grid stuff. Okay, let's get going. Ooh. Okay. Whew. Almost fell there. Let's get an update on what all is going on. So, if you are new to this or you haven't been here before, we are working in this Minecraft world. We are creating this mini map in the entire space over here. So that's what we'll be doing. We've got a grid system laid out already, so we're gonna extend this out. I did a little bit of work over here, so we're gonna go and collect a lot of soul soil. I think is what it's called. Yeah, soul soil. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna fill in the rest of this netherrack. We've got some supplies right over here, and then yeah, and we're gonna talk about absurd things, and you know, live dangerously. To recap, well, we're gonna grab something because the map should be done now. So I'm gonna grab that map, take a look at what all happened. Oh, there's some zombies in here. Ooh, there it is. You seen this? Okay, let's pop it off. No, pop and grab. Ooh, that is a double thick black line. We're gonna go on a little walk. Walk with me. Walk with me. Let's walk this map and update this. Ooh. Oh yeah. This is gonna be great. Here, we'll put it in our offhand so we don't have to keep looking down at it. Hopefully nothing hurts. I don't like the bobbing. I should turn off the bobbing. That's what I should do. But we'll figure it out. Ooh, look, some experience there. Yeah, so we were working on this last time. We finished this entire section. You know what? We're gonna speed this up because I wanna get the stuff in the nether. So we're gonna fly through all this. We're gonna update it. It's gonna be a double thick black line, I think. Should be. There we go. And we're gonna keep zooming across, updating the map as we go. Ooh. Oh, it looks excellent. Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's great. It's great. There we are. Look at that. Look at that map. Let's take a closer look, shall we? Replace that, put that back. Ooh. That is a solid black line. Now we just need to expand it on the other side, and the other side, and the other side. So we got three. We got three things that we got three more lines that we gotta draw on the map by placing blocks one by one, and it'll happen. It'll be good. We'll get there. Now we gotta put the map back and not fall off the edge of this unprotected platform. Yeah, here we are. We're blowing through April, guys. It is the 11th already, and that means April's basically almost half over, which is crazy to think about. Because it felt like we just started it. And now, here we are, already week 2 in, and we've got a lot. It's very quick. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. Don't see me. Go away. I like stressing myself out, so that's why I want to go to the nether and mine that soul soil. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic. I'm gonna put the map away, and then we wait for the elevator to load. Yeah, so absurdity, that's the topic for today. I figured I would talk about it since I kind of had a little existential crisis there. Okay, elevator should be loaded, and let's go. Had a bit of an existential crisis during the week. We're covering absurdity in the styles class, the acting styles. So we just finished, was it restoration comedy? So comedy of manners and all that fun jazz. Ooh, this looks great. And then once we fill that in, it's gonna look beautiful. Yeah. We might actually put some bone meal too and start, putting the grass to be red. But let's, how about this? I'll recap what absurdity is and talk about it, and then we can go do that. Because I think, yeah, I have it in here. So let's grab all of this. Because I think we should be able to have enough to do the whole thing. Yeah. Because we're going to be working on this grid, and I kind of want just a little bit more space over here. So let's do that, shall we? It'll be a little slow, but it'll be good. It'll be great. And it will be is that right? Yeah, okay. Everything else is right. Oh, and then we'll get to use the portal over there that we never use, because we've been working on the other side. So absurdity, right? It's a class I'm taking that's covering different acting styles and different things that you have to learn to do different methods of the acting. And one of them, like, we started with Greek, and so we did Greek theater. It was all about choral movement, talking in groups, saying things. Then we moved on to restoration, and that's more of comedy of manners, and lots and lots of sex jokes. It's body. It's supposed to be kind of, you're supposed to giggle at it because, oh man, how could that is so not appropriate. Ha 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 ha. Right. And now we've moved on to the theater of the absurd, which is fascinating because of where it comes from, right? So all of this originated after World War I and II, right? So those world wars were the first to actually to include like civilians and civilian casualties, and the horror of war, of it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. At certain point, war is war, and death is coming for us all, right? And that really messed some people up. That really was it. Oh no, is it turning night? Oh well, we'll figure it out. Look at that fog. You see that fog down there? That's fun. Or that's just the world not loading. Yeah, it's turning night. Let's put these four down, and then we'll sleep, reset, and then keep going. Right, so Theater of the Absurd is all about this idea that, oh no, the world as we know it is so fickle, and, oh, I hope I don't fall. That it's so fickle, and our existence could end at any point, and there's nothing we could do about it. That all we can do is kind of just, we exist, and we function, but at the end of the day, death is just around the corner, right? So that's kind of absurdity in a nutshell, but the more interesting thing came from the description of it and kind of the stylistic point of it, right? When we think of absurd, I don't know, I guess it depends on what you think absurdity is, because something can be weird, but in order for it to be absurd, it has to be completely just off the wall, where you're like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. Like this is I'm trying to think of a good example for this. Like if you put a person on a stage, right? You have a person and you watch a movie. Oh, like in terms of like modern references, I guess it's not really absurd, it's more expressionistic. But the Lighthouse, the recent movie, The Lighthouse, I would consider part of that to be quite absurd and expressionistic, because it's, again, a lot of these art forms started to develop after the after World War, like expressionism, impressionism, absurdism. All of these came from the war because suddenly we had been shook. We had been shaken to our core, because no longer was it about morality, and no longer was it, God is on the side of the victor, and we're fighting for the kingdom and for reality. No, it turned into and became a lot more. It was indiscriminatory. That it didn't matter, what you believed, and kind of nothing mattered because death was right there. So because of that, we started creating all these different art forms where now all of a sudden our worldview had changed, and it was more about the human experience, more so than like a religious aspect of anything, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So because of that, there's a lot of art that spawned from that, and we had a fundamental shift after World War I and II. We kind of moved to a new place and a new reality. And what absurdism does is it kind of brings the lens up. It's kind of nihilistic. Nihilistic, being that the world has no purpose, that we are just here and we exist, and if we exist, then that's great, but there's nothing to our existence. It's just us on this rock, and we do things, and we think the things that we do matter, when in actuality we could do none of it and it would still yield the exact same result, which is, on the surface level, that can be a bit depressive, and a little bit, you see that and you're like, oh man, that's no fun, that's no good, I want my life to have meaning, and that is true, we do, and we kind of, oh man, this is gonna open a whole topic of stuff, but the point is that if you consider it, there's nothing really to be 100% saying that what you have and what you do is 100% purposeful, right? We find comfort in the patterns of everyday life. We find comfort in the patterns of the things that we do, right? You always, well, not always. Again, think about this, right? You have a morning routine. You wake up, you get your cup of coffee, you check your Twitter feed, check your news feed, check your social media, think about what you have to do today, prep everything, go, and then and then the day can continue as normal. Or and then sometimes when things are thrown off balance, like you wake up late and you're like, no, I'm late, I have to do this thing, but there's still a part of that routine that you're still doing, whether you realize it or not. But you find that solace in the regularity of life, right? Think about this, like going to, and I think now especially too, with COVID and everything that we're going through, and kind of finding the rinse, wash, and repeat, where every day kind of feels the same and you start losing track. There's kind of a comfort in that you can. And again, we are now stuck doing the same thing over and over and over and over, and it can be a bit scary, frustrating. You're like, oh man, I'm constantly doing the same thing over and over and over, and it's maddening, because all it is just process number one over and over. We're just gonna say over and over a lot, over and over and over and over and over and over and over. That's another part of the absurd. Which is what I want to get to, is the absurdity of language, and that we say things and we think they mean things, but they don't mean as much as we think. And this is actually, it ties back to the math book we were talking about the law of syllogism, right? And the transitive property, that if A implies B and B implies C, then A implies C, which is really interesting in terms of language and how language is used. Go backwards. Crouch and back. Yeah, there we go. That words have meaning, but not as much meaning as we assign to them. Hear me out, all right? Stay with me. We can say a nice thing to somebody, like, I really like your hair. And this is kind of the complexity of humanity, right? We can say things to people and say, oh hey, I really like your hair today, which would be genuine based off of the tone of my voice. It would be a genuine thing to say, and they would believe me because I said that I liked their hair today. But you can say exactly the same thing and mean something completely different, even though you're using the same words. So instead of saying, I really like your hair today, you can be like, I really like your hair today, which has with it a different meaning. Or you can say it another way, where it becomes, I really like your hair today. And you're like, what? I said I really like your hair today. And so it becomes confusing, like, well, what does that mean? What did that person imply when they were saying that they like my hair? Because I couldn't figure it out. The language falls apart. But we attach so closely to what people say that it becomes very interesting that it's possible that language has no meaning, right? Or that it has, that we should take it exactly as what it is because that's how we understand everything to function. It was, I'm trying to think of, because in the theater of the absurd, language and the script are sometimes nonsensical. Oh, you see that portal down there? That's where we came from. That's where we started. That's when we finished season 1, all of us got on the server and we went and explored the new nether places and said hello, and then we built a portal, and then boom, that's where the portal spawns. And I think too that actually links up to something. I think there's like a piglin trader that we, saved and locked in a box, and so now we can trade gold with him and get stuff, which is another project that I'll throw it in there once we have that box. We'll have a fun little, once we finish doing this, because I think I'm gonna finish this square. I'm gonna square it off, make it look good, put all the grass down, and then we'll probably switch to something different next week. We'll click the button and see what the next task is, just because, eventually you can only watch me place blocks so much before it becomes absolutely boring, absolutely soul crushing. Yeah. So, and also at the end of April, we'll be launching a Twitch. So catch me on Twitch. We'll be playing some more games, some other types of games. I just recently picked back up Minecraft Dungeons, and there's a fun. I really want to. My goal is to get to Apocalypse level 25. So hopefully that you can follow me on that journey and do that, and we'll grind away on that, and then maybe some Valheim, maybe some other stuff. But that's coming at the end of the month, I think, because then I'll get my second monitor. Yeah, what was I saying? The pointlessness of language, right? Absurdity and the complete nonsensical nature of language, right? And absurd plays, pure and pure. Well, I'm gonna lift the glasses on my nose. In pure absurdist pieces, language is actually used as a tool to communicate something larger, to communicate an idea as opposed to a story. But sometimes language just absolutely does not make sense. Like, I just finished a project where I was playing the absurd character across from the character who's, more sane and normal. And there's just some non-linears. Like, the conversation will be, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm doing well. How are you? I don't like the park. What are you talking about? I just don't like the park. Okay, well, why don't you like the park? Can I borrow your phone? Oh, I guess you can borrow my... Like, it just... The language and the story do not line up with each other. It is not 100%... Oh, okay, I understand why that person would say that thing. Or, why is he now all of a sudden angry? Or why is that, why is there a sudden switch? And that's absurdity. So it's interesting that language can be used to tell something larger and to elicit more of a feeling than necessarily to make for an interesting thing to listen to, if that makes any sense. If that makes any sense, let me know. If not, then also let me know. Just let me know. You talk, I listen. No, so it's interesting that we have this attachment to language, and like, oh, what did they say, or what did you mean by that? We're always asking meaning, and one of the key principles, which again, taken more out of the context of like the theatrical and the studies of that. The study of the theatrical. How much longer am I going? Am I close? Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm basically there. Ask and you shall receive your answer. One of the key fundamentals, right, that we discussed is that when a character talks, they are alive. But as soon as they stop talking, that character is dead, basically. And the idea was that absurdity requires an understanding of the cosmic terror of existence, which, okay, stay with me. That's the analogy and the way it was described. Imagine, let's sleep. We'll sleep. Yeah, we'll sleep right here at the portal. We'll come to the top, and it's like, ooh, look at all the magic. Look at all the magic. So the theater of the absurd. Think of, and this is fun because I don't think the teacher knew about this, just because that's something that they're not familiar with. But there's the glass bridge over the there's a glass bridge over the Grand Canyon that they've constructed. But imagine for a second that this glass bridge, the gas can't hit me in this tunnel. I'm safe. That's why I built it, so I can be safe from all these enemies. And we put slabs down so that nothing can spawn in here. Hooray. So imagine a glass bridge. But it's not a bridge that has any metal on the side of it. It is a glass pane, right? So think like a window, if you lay a window sideways. And it's a glass pane. And it stretches from the start of one side of the Grand Canyon here in the United States. Think a ravine. Let's make it general so that anybody can find it. Right? Think a ravine of 100-foot drop. There's jagged spikes in the bottom. It will not be pretty to fall down. And there's a glass bridge constructed over it, but there's no metal, nothing. There's nothing to indicate that this is well constructed, except for a sign that says, no, you should absolutely go across this bridge, and it's totally safe. But they don't tell you who did it, they don't tell you anything else, they don't tell you how many people, and there's nobody else around, and so it's just this glass bridge and you. I'm gonna sip coffee. This is my third cup today. I find that I talk a lot faster and a lot more concisely when I have coffee. And I feel like I'm a better person when I have coffee. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoy the coffee that I have. The coffee. Yes, so you're on the glass bridge. And it's just you. You are standing above this chasm, looking down at the void. And so the idea is that you step onto it and you get about midway through the thing. And now you're looking at this bottomless pit below you. And the only thing between you and it is this glass bridge. And as you stare down, think about the feeling that you have by looking at this. And yeah, it's just like you're just looking down. We'll do this so it looks like that. You're standing and you're just looking down. And if one move, one wrong thing, and you could just fall and die. But it doesn't happen. But it could. And so you just stare into this void, afraid to breathe because it could break at any point. And that is what absurdism is. Isn't that fun? Isn't that exciting? We're zooming. I think I already put out all the torches. Where are my other torches? Why aren't they all neat and tidy? Neat and tidy. Okay. Yes. Yes, because I made the grid. Yeah, that was the thumbnail. Let's do this thing. Yeah, I discovered this is much quicker. And I'd rather do this than crouch and walk the entire time. Ah. So that is the internal terror that the non-realistic characters have, right? This idea that they're over the glass bridge, they're staring down at the bottom, and anything could happen and they could be absolutely gone. Right? And it's kind of that terror, right? And that correlates to talking and discussing different ideas and different things. Is that when is that a existing person? Is that a block? What's going on over there? Why is there a square over there? Did somebody put something over there? Oh, yes, that's the line. Okay. I was like, that looks odd. That's weird. That's weird. That's suspicious. Right. So, If a character is talking, that means that they're alive. And if they stop talking, that means that they're dead. And as soon as they stop talking, it kind of, that panic of, oh, I'm on this glass bridge and it could break and I could fall at any moment. That's kind of where we're at. And the same thing actually happens to us in our day-to-day lives, right? We have a system, and if something goes out of place, if something goes out of sync, sometimes it feels like our entire world comes crashing down around us. And it can be terrifying. It can be scary when you have a method of, why is there now 2 there? Okay, that's not what I wanted. All right, well, whatever. That there's a method to if we break routine, if we break pattern, that can be utterly terrifying, and we can be distraught about how much we don't know and how much there is to do. You know, like take for instance this, right? This YouTube channel, we, again, for the most part, live stream every Sunday. And you get to watch, and there's a pattern, and, you know, see? You stop, then you fall off the world. I just need a land. There we go. Okay. I didn't think that was going to be that far, but now I guess I found it. Found the edge. What was I saying? Oh, there's a pattern, right? Here we are. It's the same. It's not the same thing, but I mean, it is Minecraft. It's Minecraft, and it happens to be every week, and there's a discussion, and there's why? It's not what I wanted. I wanted to put this on here and then keep going. Thank you. Is there gonna be 2? No, there's gonna be just 1. I think there's only 1 left. Yep. Oh no, there's another one. That you can expect. You can expect a thing because there's a pattern, and we like patterns, and we like to be able to say, oh, okay, yeah, this is a lot easier for my brain to understand because, you know, I don't have to worry about. I can trust it because it's consistent. Consistency is nice for us, and this consistency is nice for our brains because it's easy to wrap your head around that. If it happens, I mean, we're creatures of habit, anyways, and we are conditioned. That sounds, now I sound like a conspiracy guy. We're conditioned to believe things. We're conditioned to rely on patterns, and anytime that pattern breaks us, we get crazy because we're not following the pattern anymore. And we need patterns to survive because without patterns, there is no such thing as normal. And without normal, we can't exist in the universe because we crave to be normal. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that it's interesting to think about the idea of normal and what you can expect from something like that. That if there is a system in the routine, it's safe because it helps guide what you're doing and how you're doing it. Is what I was trying to say. Yeah, I don't know. It hit me this week because there's a lot of things that I do in patterns and in recognition, right? And it was more of the idea was that we find comfort in that when in actuality there's nothing to it. There's no reason for it to function the way it does. We simply just say that it's a good thing, when in actuality it's neither a good thing nor a bad thing. It's just a routine. And there are solutions to this idea of madness and absurdity, right? That we get into a place where we're like, oh, okay, you know, I can rely on this because I know that I have to go do this because this is gonna help me in the long run because it's gonna give me money, and I need money to do the things I need to do, or like be able to go on vacation or whatever else. Like, there's a reason to do the monotonous, you know, go to your job from 9 to 5. Not saying that you shouldn't go to your job, just saying that there's a reason that we have created a reason and a purpose for doing the monotony and for deciding to do that every single day. But just as equally is totally valid to go, decide to leave everything and go, live off a backpack in Europe. We should create something every single time I fall off the platform. We should create a saying of like, absurdity. Maybe on Twitch. I don't know. Right, but there's nothing wrong. Working a 9 to 5 is not a bad thing at all. And, well, nor should it ever be viewed as a bad thing because, well, sometimes I think people forget, they categorize the entire concept of a job being like, oh, this is my 9 to 5 job. When we should think about what the job is and what that person is doing. Because just because they have a 9 to 5, we're just spouting times at this point. We're not even talking about what it is they do and how they do it and yada 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 yada. Sleep, drink the coffee. And so we assign this value. That was really good coffee. That was a really good sip of coffee, by the way. It's got like French vanilla in there. I'm having a glorious day. Like we categorize this work as, again, talking from the math points last week. Not last week, a couple weeks ago. The idea that you can abstract anything down to, well, you can abstract anything up or generalize it down to a very simple concept, right? That a working 9 to 5, we say it's, oh yeah, it's my 9 to 5 job. And then usually the follow-up question is, oh, okay, hey, well, what do you do? And then again, you generalize it down. Oh, I'm a data analyst. That's my job. That's what I do. I analyze data and, interpret it into graphs and put it out for people to understand and hear. But at the same time, just because that's what you do isn't necessarily the full picture, nor are people really asking for it. They're just asking the normal response. And you could say anything you want, and they're not gonna know. And it could respond, and I think it's normal conversations versus the conversations where you're trying to figure out who a person is, right? Like, in the early stages of dating, that happens a lot of like, oh, hey, well, what do you like? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? What are your goals? What do you want to do in your life? How can, what are you looking for? All of these questions are meant to know and figure out who this person is and if they're a good match for you. If you think, oh yeah, this is a person who I want to spend more time with, and the person who I want to, whatever, make mine or decide to date and decide to, again, I like thinking of these things not in the way that they're supposed to, right? Dating, it's just a trial run for marriage, is all it is. Dating is just taking a look at a person and saying, hey, well, again, not 100%. Sorry, this is my conservative upbringing that's peeking through. But in the end of it, right, you can either decide that you want to live with this person and be with this person for the rest of your life, and say, okay, and you don't have to get married if you don't want to. There are plenty of people. It's just a certificate. It's just a way to, again, and marriage is another fun topic, right? To talk about absurdity, the absurdity of marriage. There's a lot of things about marriage that are kind of crazy. It's a public declaration and basically commitment that both of you are saying that this person here, I'm claiming them. They are mine and I am theirs. It's like this, it's like a weird exchange, right? I'm not dogging on anyone who gets married, wants to get married. I'd love to get married someday. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. But I mean, think about if you generalize it, right? If you abstract it and generalize it, It's just a commitment. It's saying this person is mine and I am this person's. Which, what does that even mean, right? We talk about language and the absurdity of language. What does it mean to be somebody else's? You are mine and I am yours. And there's a bunch of declarations too of like, oh, you know, I will always take care of you even when you're sick or when you're healthy. I'm going to love you. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to say these vows, and I'm making these promises to you. If you think about it, it's kind of not I don't want to say cultish, but kind of cultish, because it's a giant ceremony. There's a bunch of professions, and you do the thing, and then at the end of the ceremony, you seal it with physical affection, and then you all drink and party. And after that moment, that's it. You've now claimed this person, and this person has claimed you. Odd. It's an odd institution. You know, and the same thing, there was a great assignment that I had in I think it was a sociology course that I took. Right, and the idea was that anything can be made to look very weird if described through a different lens. I can't remember the Anaricum people. I can't remember what it's called. It was a clever short story describing these people who you think are, I was like, oh man, these people are, you know, weird. These people don't function like we do. They live in these huts made of earth, okay, and what else they're doing? But the entire time, this author was describing how, you know, Americans lived in the 1950s, and it's just the terms were abstracted and generalized to make it sound like it wasn't actually people living in the West, but it was written in a way like you would write about like the indigenous people of a specific region. Like that's how it was written, and it's supposed to do that. It was meant to be kind of to force your perspective and to make a point on anthropology to say, hey, you know, the thing that we think is, oh, this is gotta be this way, you know, oh, we're so great, you know, oh, look at us, da 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 da. When in actuality, if you change the what's it called? If you change the narrative just a little bit, and you say, okay, well, let's describe it in its most general terms, that we start losing the idea of identity, and it's no longer, oh, that's very clearly, you know, an American, or that's very clearly a civilized. Oh, they're describing a car, but they're making it sound weird. Like a car could be described as a box. A box that moves along the ground like a snake. It moves, yeah. The people have constructed these boxes, and they sit in these boxes while one person turns a dial. Because that's kind of true. Yeah, they turn a dial, and the box moves forward while spouting fire. They push on the surface of the rock, and it blows up inside and then starts to move, and the person turning the dial can control how fast this box is moving. Right? You can describe how to drive a car and make it sound very weird. You make it like, well, you're not wrong. You're not presenting false information. You're just presenting information in a way that is not 100% the same thing, right? And that's kind of what, you know, absurdism aims to do. Its goal is to present something and call into question why we do it, or what the point of doing something like that is. Like, I've read a lot of absurdist pieces on cloning, right? There's a bunch of these pieces on cloning, and because that was a craze in the early 2000s, like late 19, and then the early 2000s, late 19 to the 21st century. Anyways, it was a big stink when, you know, we finally discovered, oh hey, we can we can clone things, right? We can create another being that is basically an exact replica of the same first being. That's it. What are the implications of that? Like, does that mean we can clone people? What does it all mean? How are we gonna survive with this? And there's tons of different pieces written about this type of cloning that you're looking at this. You're like, ooh, man, this is. I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know how I feel about that, because I don't think there should be more than one of this thing. And, well, what would happen if there were two? And so it becomes this idea, it's the play and the piece explores, you know, synchronicity, about, oh, what if these, you know, would clones speak in perfect unison, or would they, you know, or would they have a little bit of a different speech pattern depending on what they do? Like, what does that look like? How do we make sense of that? Nobody knows, because it's never been done, and can we even do it? You know, and what are we thinking about this? How do we feel about this specific event? And that's the goal, and that's the point of absurdist theater, is to say, well, what's the point? Why do we keep doing this? Right? One of the famous pieces by Samuel Beckett, Waiting for Godot. It's a play just about waiting. It's about these two characters who are waiting for this third person to arrive, because they said that they would arrive, and they fill their time by waiting for them to arrive. Again, it kind of calls into question, you know, and there's a bunch of great stuff in there. You know, they contemplate life and the religion and other things. They wait, they meet other people, they have to fill their time. But it's this idea of, why are we waiting? Why are we waiting for so many things to happen? And we just keep going, and we keep doing exactly the same thing while waiting for something to happen that may or may not ever happen. Which is an interesting, again, it's a moment where you think about, I don't know. Why do we wait? Why do we wait for life, for the things? Why do we wait for coffee to cool down? Coffee can be drink. Coffee can be drink. Coffee can be drink cold. Coffee can be drink warm. Coffee can be consumed. All right. Well, we finished one whole row, and it only gets smaller from here, so let's keep going. It's gonna be great. So that's, I mean, ooh, yeah, okay. That's the point of absurdism, is to call into question these things that we hold as facts, that we hold as true, because that's where it originated from. No longer is life ordained and protected, because, you know, we found out that anyone can be the victim of war and hate and crime. That it's indiscriminatory, and that is a terrifying thought. Come on. But because of absurdism, we have lots of really fun scripts and ideas. Like, for instance, one of the things that you can do is that you can have words, and they can have meaning, but they don't mean anything. Like, you can have a whole scene where there's a conversation about how much these two people care about each other. And, like, say it's a husband and wife, but they could be working in an office, and it could be just two complete strangers who are saying this to each other, and you're like, that doesn't... I believe what they're saying, but I don't believe the circumstance at all. Like, this is a person... Or let's make it different. Like, it's a conversation between a man and his wife, and they're professing their love for each other, and they're doing all that. But the dialogue, like, all of that implies, oh, honey, I love you. You know, why don't you come over here, and, you know, I can show you how much I love you, because I've bought you something, and I want you to open it. And, you know, they keep going, right? Stay with me, right? Think about that, right? And then let's say that same dialogue is now still speaking with the same intent, still it's everything is, quote, normal, unquote, but it's being told the guard overlooking a prisoner, and the prisoner is, you know, in the electric chair with a switch about to be pulled. He's enjoying his last meal, and the guard comes in and starts, you know, talking to him like it's his wife. And it fits exactly the same dialogue, and you're like, but this is odd. This doesn't fit the situation at all. That this is a prison, and these people have a different relationship than what they're saying they have. But I believe what they're saying because they're saying it truthfully and honestly, but what? Why are they doing that, right? So you can have meaning behind words, and then eventually that meaning doesn't exist. It doesn't matter that they're saying things that they mean, even though that's the language coming out of their mouths. Whereas on the flip side, you can also have it be the opposite, where you have words that have absolutely no meaning, that can portray a scene that is completely interesting, right? So in this example, in that example that we just talked about, the guard is, you know, referring to this prisoner as his wife, and you know how beautiful she is, and how he's got a present for her and everything else. And it can be, and we can make a commentary about, oh, you know, the gift that he's talking about is that electric chair, and that, you know, maybe this prisoner is in agony because they're, you know, badly beaten up, and they're guilty, and they're done, and they, you know, they just want the release, and this, you know, they're talking about that. It just weirdly misnomed them as a wife, right? That could happen. You could also have something like, let's flip back to the married couple that's at home, and instead of saying whatever they're trying to say to each other, they instead only can say the ingredients. Like they can only name root vegetables, like any produce. They can say and name any produce, like tomato, 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 tomato. Ah, celery. And that, you can still get an entire scene, and you can understand that he's trying to give her a gift and tell her how much he loves her, while he's only ever saying the names of different produces. And that can still be just as effective. And then that kind of, you know, and that can be a commentary on, oh, they're so much consumers that their language is just products that they can buy. They don't even talk real words anymore. They can say, and we kind of have that, you know, we have these shortcuts in our languages. You could have a whole conversation and, you know, ask somebody, like, say, you know, we can have this conversation and be like, Xbox? Oh, PS5. Cool. Nike? Converse. Adidas. Under Armour. Yeah. Yeah, Under Armour. And you can have this whole conversation, and it'd be products, and you can still actually pick up and understand what's going on. You can have a couple of, you know, of words in there. You can have a couple of these ideas that kind of peek through the surface. Say, like if that conversation was more, oh, is the PS5? No, it's an Xbox. Oh, I thought it was. No, I thought so too. The design is just, no, yeah, the design is just, yep, that design. You know, yeah, I know. Xbox design, woo. PS5 design, and so if you were to just read that on a page, you'd be so confused. Like, what is going on? What are these people talking about? They are just saying nonsense words, and it's not helping anyone. It doesn't read. I don't understand it. This is just so confusing, and this is just not at all logical. And that's kind of the point, is it doesn't need to be logical. It can just exist in the world that it does without having to follow any sort of normal pattern of conversation. Gonna drink some coffee as we walk back. At the end of today, we should update the map to see. I also want to fill this in. I think I've got a lot of bones back at the home base. Oh, I had one more well. I didn't even check my inventory. I just assumed I was out. Silly me. Silly rabbit. Tricks. And that's a fun thing too, is playing with the audience's idea of what they know and what they don't know. Right, if I said, because I could probably, you know, it's a trend on TikTok right now, right? People play one note of a song, and like the first note for, what is that, Black Parade? I think is the name of the song. Yeah, when I was a young boy, took me into to see the marching band. Yeah. I don't know. I'm bad with remembering things. My memory is not what it used to be. Well, that's not even true. I dropped a piece. I feel like that's such an old, not man. There's nothing wrong with old men. But that's such an old thing to say. Ugh, my memory isn't what it used to be. I'm struggling to remember all the things of my life. Click, click. But you can also, like, there's some social constructs that are interesting, and they lead for interesting theater and interesting discussions about what works and what doesn't work. Because we can reference one tiny thing. There's these sounds that the netherrack has, and it's absolutely freaking. I was putting down some of that soul soil, and like every single step that you take has a different, it like produces like almost like this unearthly wail, not wail, like exhalation. And it's just odd. It's just weird. It's just a little bit weird. Gotta do that soon. I will say the nice thing about April moving along is that April showers. Ooh, oh, they're so great. You get these like electrical thunderstorms, and it just, you know, and if you're safe in your apartment and you're just looking out the window, it's a lot of fun because all of a sudden now, it's different though. I think from an apartment to, say, like a, you know, resident home. Because the nice part about a home is that you get to, I don't know, snuggle up on the couch, whereas, and you know that you're low to the ground and everything else. Like, that's kind of what I miss. I like the fact that, you know, in an apartment you don't have to worry about like lawn care or anything else like that. But there's something about being able to have different rooms for different things. And I think that's something that I'm just struggling with at the moment, is that, you know, it comes down to bed is too far away. Okay. Well, you can just leap in the bed. Goodness. That, like, in this apartment that I share with some roommates, there's the general living room, but it's not used. We don't. Oh, ooh, pillagers. Oh no. Hey, buddy. Don't be angry. He's gonna die on his own. Because I think I have thorns. Yeah. We'll just watch him. See, this is the absurdity. He wants to do this, but it doesn't make any sense. Here, I'll punch him once. Now I'll get what he drops. Yeah. Ding, 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 ding. There we go. Come on. Can you be done? Can you be done? Please, please. I'm trying to live stream, my friend. I'm trying to do a thing. Me and my buddy pal. Buddy old pal, how you doing? Okay. You're not getting hurt anymore. Why aren't you getting hurt? There you go. I don't want to kill you, because if I kill you, then I'll have the bad symbol. And it'll be no fun. You made me place a block incorrectly. Stop it, please. Yeah? I was hoping he wouldn't die. But I guess he did. Guess he died. Well, that would just give me an excuse to use our raid farm that we have over there, which we worked on and built, and it was great. Alright, well, I'll have to go over there. Yeah, we'll do that, yeah. I think we'll actually only be able to fill this whole thing in, which is unfortunate. Well, that gives me time to go and collect the soul soil, because the soul soil is something that we need. Where were we at? We were talking about... Oh, the like jingles and other things that have, you know, been written onto our brains, and now we just recognize them all the time. Like, I bet if I went ba-da-ba-ba-ba, that there'd be an automatic brain completion thing in your head. And absurdism does the same thing too. They'll take expressions and they'll completely mix them up. Or they'll take, you know, things that are said normally and everyone's like, ah, yes, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And then, you know, cause it to be like, why did you say that? Oh, I don't know. I guess that's what people say. Like, well, why did you say that? Did you have a cookie? Do you need a cookie? Like, what's going on? What's going on? Why use that expression if that doesn't actually make sense? And it's just those moments where you get to see that and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. They're poking fun at language and why we say all the things that we say. Like the one that I just did, it was, again, it's meant, this person who is insane is actually the most sane person out of the two of them, because I clearly identify, ah, yes, you are a family man, you have the perfect atomic family, you have a wife, 2 daughters, although you wanted 2 boys because that's exactly what everybody wants to do, you know, or a boy and a girl would actually be perfect, and so unfortunately you didn't get that. So, but you have a dog, you have a TV, you have a car, you are very good. Like, there's just a, like, oh, I know everything about you and I don't have to guess anything about you just because it's clear that you are living and doing the same thing over and over and over and over, and that reads very easily to somebody who can just, you know, walk up on the street and say, ah, yes, I know that, because I've identified that, because there's so many of them. They're cookie cutter. That's a good word for it. But what are words, you know? So yeah, that's my rant on absurdism. A little bit of it anyways. Because why not? No, I don't want it to be raining. Because then it's gonna fill up with snow and I don't want snow. Should change the game settings so it never rains. So there's never any snow collection. And it's daytime too, isn't it? So I can't even sleep the snow off. That's okay. I think too, absurdism can be quite funny. And quite enjoyable if done correctly. Like, there's a play called the Bald Soprano, which is all about these 5 people by the end of it. There's 4 people performing at the very end, but they're 2 couples, and they just have the most wacky things that they do and say, and it's just you're watching, and it's hilarious because of the bits and the comedy of it, but it's just one of those things where you're watching this like, this is, I don't even know what's going on, but I'm okay with it going on. And then there's other levels of absurdity too. Like, it can be a totally normal show, but where something is just you know, unrealistic. And that maybe that's, you know, maybe that's not 100% absurdism, but it is a moment where that has an absurd element. You know, like there's a, like say for instance you had a show and you decided to personify the shadow character, like Peter Pan, for instance. It's magical, yes, but say that everyone considered it normal and it's completely absurd because this shadow is just walking around and it just follows this person and it never says anything, but the person who he's following is very aware that there's a shadow behind them, and they're just trying to live their life normally, but this shadow keeps, you know, interrupting and interfering with their life. Like that, and you could still tell a I'm air quoting, normal story by saying, oh yeah, it's just a shadow. Everything else is normal. His entire life experience is normal, and it's supposed to be a metaphor or something. Or as soon as you start explaining the metaphor, it doesn't help the absurdity of it. And because most of the time at the end, you're supposed to leave watching an absurd piece saying, what was that? What did I just watch? That's why I think Lighthouse is actually more of an absurd piece than a expressionistic piece. Because you walk out of that theater and you after watching that movie and you're like, what did I just watch? What was that whole movie about? Was there a meaning to that? Is there not a meaning to that? Should I read into it? Should I not read into it? And it's beautiful because that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to see it and you're just like, I'm either scared or not scared, or, you know, and the question comes down to it is, does it need a meaning? Is it okay for it just to exist without it having a specific attached meaning to it, and that every single moment is clearly defined and we know, oh yes, I know exactly what he meant when he said that line because, you know, his character is going through this and that must mean that he is actually, you know, this thing. It doesn't need that. It can be something that is just an experience for the person to be like, oh, I felt that movie made me feel slightly uncomfortable, but it also made me want to call my mom. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the craziness of the character who thinks that they're the mother, and I was like, oh, I should call my mom and ask her how she's doing. Not because of the movie, because I don't, you know, she's not, my mom's not crazy. I just wanted to call her because I haven't thought about her in a while. And that's kind of, and that should be okay for those pieces. To be able to look at them and say, ah, okay, yeah, this one made me feel a specific type of way. And I'm 100% okay with feeling this way because I learned something about myself, or I learned something about, you know, who I am or what I want to do. Or now I'm thinking about, what is the consequence of cloning a sheep? And that's what those are designed to do, is to make you think or to make you uncomfortable. I had an argument with one of my professors about absurdism, and they're like, absurdism should always make you uncomfortable. And I was like, but that doesn't make any sense, because then how can you sell tickets to something that is meant to make you uncomfortable? Because if you buy the tickets and you come back to see it, even though very clearly from the beginning you've been told this is supposed to make you feel uncomfortable, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you come see it unless there's some sort of, you know, that you like feeling uncomfortable, or that you enjoy when things aren't 100% the same. There it is. Okay. It's like, I need to sleep. It's that fine balance of, you know, why do we do the things that we do? And should we make art for somebody who, should we make art for entertainment's sake, or should we make art for art's sake? Which is it's a good and difficult question that doesn't necessarily have a straight answer. We should do art and, you know, make it both entertaining and still insightful and thought-provoking. But that's hard to do. It's very difficult. Very difficult. Okay, let's put the junk in the junk thing. We'll put you right there. Throw, 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 throw. Okay. And now we'll get some more netherrack. And hopefully fill that spot up. Ooh, it's almost like a perfect amount. Ooh, it's gonna look so good when it's all done. I'm really hoping this path turns out. Also, now that we've built this path, we'll be able to create a little forest over here and possibly also start building some little what's it called? Little stalls. I want to get some villagers up here and have them stand behind that cart and sell little, like, either banners or other things like that, and so it'll look like it's a traveling merchant who's parked his cart on the side of the highway that goes to the middle of the map, and he'll be like, "Oh yes, I've got wares for you," so that way I can expand some stuff, because I've got a lot of fish right now from the experience farm that I have, and I have no clue what to do with this fish at all. And I think having a little fish merchant who's just traveling the road, and he set up a little cart, and he's like, "Hey, I've got fish." I think that would be fun. Plus, then I could, you know, store the fish somewhere else, and if people wanted it, they could grab it. And then I kind of want, I just like writing the narratives of these things. Of, like, if the fish salesman was going, and then across from the road there was a man who could cook up the fish for you. Like, he's got a bonfire, and you can ask him, like, "Oh, hey, I've got some fish. Can you cook me the fish?" And he's like, "Yeah, but I'll charge you, but I'll cook as much fish as you want for one base price." I don't know. That's just where my brain is going. I like making these fun little design choices. I almost fell, but I didn't. So we survived. It's been an hour already. Here we are. How you guys doing? Hanging in there? Good. Good. We should do an absurd exercise. Oh, that was a fun, yeah, repeating one word until it no longer sounds like a word. And then just speaking without any filter whatsoever. That was insane. Yep. Ooh. I'd like to write an absurd piece. I think it'd be a lot of fun to write a piece that's just crazy and uses the same word over and over and over and over. I really want to do that. I want to do just a play or a comedy, probably. An absurdist comedy where it is just like a shopping list that's being read back and forth. And then you get a whole story based off of this giant shopping list. Don't want to fall off the edge. Alright, we only have a little bit left. And then this side will be complete, and we'll have one more side, and then we gotta go get the soil. After we visit the raid farm, because we've got to get rid of this raid. There we go. Because I don't like these particle effects. They're very annoying. They look like little fart bubbles. It's like my character is just stinky. Yeah, Minecraft's not enchantments, but the status effects constantly look like you're either, if you're like tooting, farting, or that like you smell. I guess it could also look like you're giving off some sort of particle, but to me it always looks like I'm like, ooh, my character, they are smelling or they're smoking. Like they're just like, I think there's a couple of them that use the gray swirls, and it just looks like, you're on fire. and you're just smoking from this random enchantment that's been attached to you, or that you drank from a potion. Oh, if you don't, you should follow Alan Becker on the YouTubes, because he's doing a whole, if you like Minecraft and you're here to watch Minecraft videos, he's got a whole series with the 4 different colors, I think, or the 5 different colored stickmen, and they play Minecraft, and it's some of the best animated stuff I've ever seen. Like, it's just great. I remember when it first came. I remember the first one released, and it was like, oh wow, look at this guy. He's animated this stickman, and he's fighting, and he's fighting the computer mouse. This is so cool. I never thought that this was even possible. And now he's kind of moved into more of a storytelling aspect, where he's got a whole cast of characters now, and they go on adventures, and they do this thing, and they'll do that thing, and it's just, I highly recommend it. Cannot recommend it enough. We're on the home stretch now. The sad part for me about coffee is that it doesn't actually wake me up as well as I hope it would. Like, I could drink a cup right before going to bed. See? Yawning. And I've had 3 cups of coffee already. So what's going on? Is my body now just overloaded, so it's deciding, nope, we're not gonna be awake anymore? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But I will eventually. I'll know. I remember there was advice I had gotten back in college, early parts of college. I think it was, yeah, the associates. I can't remember what year it was, but the idea that you should drink coffee and then take a 15-minute power nap, because by the time the coffee kicks in, you will have rested, and then you'll be able to tackle whatever is next in your day. And I was like, I don't know 100% if that, because caffeine works differently on everyone. Like, I am usually, why am I yawning so? I'm usually pretty lively and awake in terms of, like, when I drink coffee, but I have to slam coffee like 3 of them in a row in order to feel that, like, excited energy buzz that you get from coffee. Whereas, and like Red Bull too is, or any of those Red Bull, Monster, any of those energy drinks, is that it can be difficult for me to get any energy from them. Like, it's a temporary boost, but it doesn't provide the fulfillment and the longevity that coffee brings. But they have to be consumed very quickly within very quickly of each other. Man, I might need to take a nap after this. It's just so relaxing, you know? I mean, look at that. We do the same thing over and over, and it's just, so relaxing. Minecraft's so relaxing. Minecraft Dungeons, however, is not relaxing. Especially once you get to apocalypse mode. Very difficult. Very scary. Give me my block back. Thank you. I mean, I placed it there, so. Oh, yeah. I can taste the victory from here. I think, too, once we go in the net, I think it's just the monotony. It's kind of like the, it's called highway hypnosis. Where if you keep doing the same thing over and over, your brain will start to wander. It's like the whole thing when you realize that you arrived home and you don't even realize you were driving. You're like, whoa! I didn't even think about that. I wasn't even thinking for the last 20 minutes, and here I am at home. How did I do that? It's the body's automatic response. You just move slowly. Okay. Not move slowly. It's like you're on autopilot. Whoa! Ding, ding. Whoa! Okay. We gotta fill this one in. Should have enough. Well, no, I will not have enough, actually. I don't think so. Not in my inventory. Absurdism. We gotta find something to say when that happens. Whew. Boom, 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 boom. No, no, it's dirty night. No. Okay. And take a quick power nap, my friend. Do it. And I'll sip some coffee. All right. That's the rest of the coffee consumed. Let's get to work. Yep. This is where I was. I'm gonna fall, aren't I? Gonna fall again. And everyone will laugh at me. They won't laugh at me. They'll never laugh at me. Oh man, I may have to just finish this netherrack and literally call it. Because I am getting tired and I don't know what's going on or how it's going on, but I am beat. Which is a shame because I really wanted to finish this. Well, I can finish it. I mean, you'll see what it looks like. Yeah, we'll finish it and move on to something else next week. Because having this monotonous, always placing the same blocks in the same way can get tiresome on the soul. Plus, it will give me time to get all the things I need. So that way we can continue to be a happy collective. Click, click. Oh man, too, and I can't divulge too much, but I've been working on something for quite some time, and I will be coming to. Oh yeah, there's the Funcertainty box now actually has a channel as well. So if you decide you want to check that out, it's literally just at Funcertainty box, and we'll be posting more videos into there soonish. Once we have the videos that we want to put in there, we will put them in. We will put them in there. I mean, it's also, I guess, 4. It's kind of that, you know, that golden hour right after you eat where your body's just content and it's like, ah, yes, a nap would be excellent right now. Let's take a nap. We should do that. I remember, I think it was last year. Man, I would take these power naps of like, okay, I've got 15 minutes, I'm tired. I'm gonna snooze it for 15 minutes and then I'll get up and do everything I need to do. And then... And I haven't gotten a chance to nap as much as I used to this semester, but it's okay. Ooh, hoorah. Ooh, we almost fell there, but that was intentional. This one's also intentional. Whoa. Lightspeed activates. Oh, hey, look at that. It's done. We're gonna need more netherrack. We're gonna need a bigger boat. I don't think we'll use up an entire other one, but we can certainly try to start it. Click, 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 click. It actually might be another round. Yeah, there it is. Bum, ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. We're almost done with this netherrack. And then we gotta tint it all. Oh, that's gonna be so much. I'm gonna have to just run it. How many chests did we use total of this? 2, 4. Oh, that's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to just run that farm like nobody's business. Oh, that's gonna be. I have to run that bone meal farm for ages. Hopefully, fill up on all of this stuff. Oh man. Because every single piece of this nilium needs to be... Yeah, and then we're gonna have to place it all. Ugh. Maybe that'll be an adventure for another day. Because that's a lot. Oh, that's a lot of bones that needs. Oof. And we got rid of the grid. I was trying to welcome you to the grid. Did you get the reference, by the way? That is a Tron reference. I love that opening monologue. The grid. A complex relationship. Da, 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 da. Oh, it was great. I really enjoyed that movie. Because it just brought that whole genre to life. That, like, sci-fi, cyberpunk. Oh, it was just so cool to see all the designs and hear the music by Daft Punk. Oh, I listened to Son of Flynn for ages, and I also learned it on piano because I was like, this is the best song. This is the best song ever. I want to learn it. I want to know how to do it. Yeah, we're not gonna keep running back and forth. I think we're just gonna finish this and then go set up the bone farm. Plus there's 3, so it's nice, and like when you finish one, leads you straight into the next one. Alright. Alrighty. Throw that in there, and throw that in there. Woohoo! And fly. I just want to see how this looks from up above. Ooh. That looks majestic. Now that looks like it's the start of something. Oh man. That's intense. That's really intense. Ah, I didn't make it. Oh well. Because it's supposed to look... I love this song. This one's right. It's supposed to look like this. Except this one's 3 wide and that one's only going to be 2 wide. So think of it as a cross-section of this thing here, and it's blown up completely to be something very massive and large and bigger than life. I want to see this. I want to see it from here. I just love the scale of this Minecraft stuff. Like, you can just become... You can do so much with it. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's gonna work. That's gonna work well. It's gonna look great. Yeah. Let's grab the map real quick before calling it. Let's grab the map and see how it looks. Click. Pop off. Show me pastrami. Why is the other side of it not registering? Ah, okay, it's slowly registering. So we should actually double check that thing because it should also be slowly registering. Yeah, might have to walk this. I have to check to see what the grass looks like, because hopefully the grass, like the warped Nilium, makes it look a little bit different. Oh wait, does the line already exist? Because if it already exists, then I might just walk the entire thing. I might just finish with the little stroll around the map. Okay, let's put this in our offhand, because I want to see. And you know what? We're gonna change. I don't like this bobbing. This bobbing is bothering me. Video. Can we stop the bob? View bobbing. Turn off bobbing, please. Resume game. Yes, this is the way I like to play. This is the way I like to play. Nope, see, it's not updating that. Yeah, it's not updating this side of the... Interesting. But will it update the other black line now that I'm by it? If I'm walking, will it update that? Or is there something wrong? Because we flew it earlier. And I'm wondering if flying it doesn't... Yeah, see, it's not updating to be too thick. It's just one thick. Huh. That's alright. That's alright. It's alright. We'll figure it out. Figure it out at another point. Because that is all the time that we have for today. There we go. Just hopefully land right up here. Yeah, just to view the progress. Oh, yes. Excellent, excellent, excellent. We'll turn around and then you'll be able to see behind me. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being a part of this and being a part of our absurdity talk. This golem is trying to give me a hug. You guys are great. It's always fun to chat with you guys and do other projects on here. So we'll probably switch next week and do something a little bit different. Possibly try our hand at some redstone mechanics. Yeah, so let me know what you guys want to see, and I really appreciate you guys for being here. So I'll catch you on the flip side. I'll see you when I see you, and that's all I got. Adios.